lab here. That is what we want to implement today. Do the configuration of what we have here. I do not have to do all the explanation over here because this one we did in our previous class on Thursday. And so today we want to do a few configurations here. Or maybe before I start, is anyone with any suggestion or something they want to say before we start this lab? Okay, the silence means that everybody is good and we can proceed with this. Yes, yes, Aaron?
Okay. Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can now hear
Okay,
you.
thank you. Now, Apollo, just something I wanted clarification. The two routers on the green zone. I've been wondering where do they connect from?
Where do they connect from?
Yes.
Do I get the question? In other words, can you ask in other words so that I get that question? Because, uh-huh.
All right. There's a cable to these routers.
Yes, this cable over here.
Yes. In this case, is the cable the one from the service provider or just an internal cable from the organization?
Oh, all right. Now it depends if this is within a small area. If this is within a building, then this could just be your internal cable. But
Okay.
if you are connecting a branch in Kisumu and a branch in Nakuru, then this connection here will happen over the internet. This then would happen over the internet. So maybe we then would have had a cloud here.
Okay.
Yes. But if it is just within your offices, your office within a small area, then you can just do if the distance between these two cables, if you're using Ethernet, which is what we're using in this case, should not be more than 100 meters. The distance, the physical distance between these two routers should not go beyond 100 meters. But if you are connecting branches in different geographical locations, then this will be done over the internet. And then actually in practice, what happens, hapa hivi, you will be using what is called MPLS. But of course, you as the consumer or as the customer, you wouldn't even notice that this work will be done by the ISP. Like Safaricom, then what they do to route traffic on the internet for their different clients is MPLS. But that is a topic that is completely beyond the scope of what we're learning for now. But just to answer your question, if it is within your organization, you can just put an Ethernet cable and connect the other end. Or yes, that is the thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's do this config. Or do you, because I'm recording, let me just start straight away. And we'll start by giving IP addresses, indicating the IP address that we'll give the PCs. So I want to explain myself before I start. I want to explain myself to what we're going to do here. Just okay. I want to make sure you get what we're going to do here. We have said more than once in our class that we have what is called the router ama the gateway address. Now, the gateway address can be any address within your network. But we have said that conventionally, some engineers choose to use the first available. the first available host address. For example, the first available host address here as the gateway address. Yeah. Again, the first available host address here as the gateway address. Here. And some do that, some use that. Is that what I want to do? For me, I'll go slightly different. I'll be using the last available gateway address as the last available network address as the host address. So please take note of that. That in this lab, we will be using the last usable address as our gateway address. We will be using the last usable address as our gateway address. Just take note of that. And so we can get started. So where we will start by configuring the PCs. So I'll start from this lab here. We can name our labs. We can give them some names here. Let's say you can say this is, let's say Kisumu. Then we can have Nairobi here. This can be Nakuru. And then Eldoret over here. If this now, if this is the case we have, you can see that these offices are then located in different geographies. And so it means that these connections, the connections here, let me just get this one. This connection will then go over the internet, this connection here. This connection here will happen over the internet. Okay, first of all, we will need to, let me just get and do this. We will need to point out where these routers themselves are located. If they are located in the headquarters, it means they're in Nairobi. If the headquarters is Nairobi, if the headquarters is in Kisumu, it means that they're in Kisumu. But what I want to tell you is that if this is the case, if this router, for example, is in Nairobi, this one here, then the connection between this router and this switch will happen over the internet. But I think I want to change my mind and just do a different thing to make it easier to go through. So let's say this is the admin network. This is maybe the marketing. Yeah, the marketing department. Then this is the finance department. Finance. And then this could be a department like maybe the IT department. IT. So now let's start the configuration from here. So I'll start by giving this computer here an IP address. So you click on it. Let me clear this from the screen. So just click to give that computer an IP address. You click on desktop here. Then you click on IP configuration. So you click on this, and then I'll give it the first available host address, which is 192.168.1.129. That is the first available. So we can give it any IP address between 129 and 189 because the 190 is the one that I'll give the router interface. So, and remember it is /26. So it is 255.255.255.128. So if anything I'm typing, you don't understand where we are getting it from, you just let me know so that we explain it. But /26 will be 255.255.255.128. And then that's it. I'll give this PC1 in marketing department an IP address. So I'll just click on it here. Again, I'll give it the first available host address. So you click on desktop here. Yes,
Good evening.
Peter?
Good afternoon, Apollo.
Good afternoon to
Sorry,
you.
I'm not sure whether we are seeing the screen, your screen.
Oh, okay. Pole. Okay, sawa. Let
Right.
me share entire screen. That is, okay. You able now to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so the first step, I came to the PC. Then when you click on it, you get this window over here. Then you click on IP configuration here. And then this is the IP address that I entered. And this is the subnet mask as a /26, which is 255.255.255.128. So that is that PC there. Then the second PC, which is this one, PC1, we click on it. You click on IP configuration. And then we give it an IP address that is in this range of subnet here. So this one is going to be, let me just drag this to here. And this is going to be 192.168.1.1, but it is /25. In fact, the other one is wrong. You guys should have, this is the one that is 128. The other one should be 192 here. So this other one here, I made a mistake. This actually should be 192 because it is /26. Should be 192. That is the subnet for that. Then we give this laptop over here an IP address that is now /27. So the IP address for the laptop becomes 192.168.1. Let me just check that. .1.193. 193. And then the subnet mask is 255.255.255.224 because it is /27. That is 128 plus 64 plus 32, which gives us 224. So that is how that one is. And then these are the laptop here. We also give it an IP address. And you click on this, then IP configuration, then the IP address is 192.168.1.225. And then it is /29. So what should this one give us? 255.255.255. What? As a /29. Anyone?
Good 248.
Exactly, 248. So that is now correct. We haven't configured default gateway yet, but we're going to configure it in a bit. So our machines have IP addresses, but we haven't configured default gateway. Now, I want to add one PC in each of those networks. So I want to add one PC here so that there are two. Add a second one here. So that we also have two PCs upper. Another one here. So that we have two here and again another one here. So I want to connect them. So from the switch here, 02 to that. Again from this switch to this piece, to this laptop here. Then again from this to this. And then from this one to this one. So I'll give the second PCs the second available host address. So starting with PC2 here, when you click on it, you go to desktop IP configuration. This should be now 192.168.1. Well, there's something interesting here. Yeah, .129.130. And then this should be 192. And then that is done. Then we can go to this guy here. (192.168.1.2), and this is 128, and you can close that. And then this one here, 192.168.1.194. And okay. Already in use. Let me just check this. 193. One nine 4. Let's see. Okay. So this is dot 224. And then the last one is this guy here. And this should be 192.168.226. And it is 248 over here. And then you close out of that. So all our PCs have IP addresses. Now the next thing today we will not focus on the switches. We'll go and focus on the routers, and we'll start by configuring router 1. This R1 here. So this R1, when you click on it, then you click on the CLI here. Of course, there's that option. You have to click up and then you give the IP addresses interfaces. The interfaces IP addresses from here. But what I want to do is to configure IP addressing from the CLI. Because ukienda kwa G00, you can come here and give it an IP address and the subnet mask. But I want to configure it from the CLI. So you click on CLI here. And so here, I want to exit first of all out of that interface, and then change the name of this router from R1, from router to R1. So we say host name, and the host name is R1. We can also configure those basic configurations that we did with the switch at that time, where you say line console 0, and you give it a password so that if someone tries to access the router via the console line or the console port, they don't have to provide a password of say Cisco, and you say login. Also, you can also configure exit this, then you say enable secret, and enable secret will be Cisco again. I don't want to give myself a lot of tasks to remember the passwords. I'll just use Cisco for now. And also the line console, not console, line VTY 0 / 4, because for a router, you will have a total of 5 users connecting to the switch for management purposes using the virtual teletype lines. And also you can give it a password, and we'll do Cisco again. And again, you have to say login for that one as well. So we can exit that. We can encrypt the password, service password encryption, and that will encrypt for us passwords. You can also do the banner message of the day if there is need to do that. Let's say we can say unauthorized access is prohibited. And then we say that is it. Then the next thing here, I think now we are done. Let's look at our interfaces. If you want to see the interface that this router has, the command is do. Now the reason I'm saying do is because all the show commands are supposed to be executed from the privilege exec mode. But you see currently we are at the global configuration mode. So either I say do show or I exit here and then say show IP interface brief. So show IP interface brief will show us the status of the router interfaces that this router 1 here has. So if we press enter just to enlarge this, You can see that G0/0/0 has no IP address, the same to G0/1 and G0/2. So let's start by configuring G0/1, the one that connects to admin LAN, the one that connects this LAN here. So this G0/1 is the first one we'll go with. We will configure that one as the first interface. So to do that, you say, you now get out of privilege exec mode to global configuration mode, and you say conf T for configure terminal, and then you say you go to that particular interface, which is interface G gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1. Or maybe before we even do that, let us look at this router's routing table. If you want to look at the router's routing table, you say do show IP route. This will show us the router's routing table. We want to see if at this point in time that router has knowledge of any routes. If you press enter, you can see that the routing table currently is empty. There is nothing in the routing table apart from these codes. The routing table has nothing. So with that, maybe I can just do this little explanation here. Now, for routers to make routing decisions, they use the routing table. Routers use the routing table to make routing decisions. And how do routers learn about routes? So, about routes, there are three ways in which routers can learn about routes. One, routers learn about routes okay, Aaron, I'm seeing the question that you are asking over there. Where can one learn these commands? If you are in that Cisco, if you join the Cisco course that whose link I shared, these commands are there. And then the other way of learning is, of course, when you attend classes like this. Okay. So there are three ways in which routers can learn. One, routers can learn about routes dynamically. Also, they can learn about routes statically. And also, they learn about route because of what we call connection or connected routes. So when we say dynamically, is where routers learn about routes using routing protocols. E.g., examples of routing protocols that routers use to learn is OSPF, Open Shortest Path First. We have EIGRP. We have IS. We have RIP. RIP is hardly used these days, but it still is one of those routing protocols. It is very limited, so you will hardly ever see routes with RIP these days, but it's also one of the routing protocols that are there. For now, yes. Then statically, this is where you manually configure a static route. You manually configure a static route on a router. You as a network engineer, you manually configure a route for the router. Then this other one is where routers learn about routes because they are connected to those networks. So they know the routes to these networks because they are connected to them. And we are going to see, we might choose to configure OSPF, though there's a whole topic about OSPF, or we can choose to configure EIGRP or a RIP or a SIS. But let's say we will configure maybe OSPF. Now, and we will also do static configuration. The connected ones, we're going to see them in a short while. The very moment we configure this router interface G0/1, it will add that route to its routing table because it will learn about that particular network by being that one of its interfaces is connected to that network. So let's see how that one works out. So you say to then do this configuration, then you say interface G. G is gigabit. That is the interface type. Then you specify the interface number, which is 0/1. Then you press enter and it takes us to that particular interface, as you can see here. And then we give it an IP address, say IP address. And we said we will give it remember we are configuring this interface here. This one here, the one that connects to admin network. So the IP address will be 192.168.1.190. It is /26, which is 255.255.255.192. So we have configured an IP address to that particular interface. But if you say do show IP interface brief, what I want you to see is this, that we have configured an IP address, but if you look at this one here, that the status of that interface is administratively down, this one here. So we need to issue the command no shutdown to enable that interface so that it stops being administratively down. So you say no shutdown or just no shut. So if you do that now, if you repeat the command do show IP interface brief, now you can see that the status is up and also the protocol status is also up. Now again, today we have that issue class that lasts 40 minutes. I was trying to get in touch with Dr. Hosea Chumba, but he hasn't responded to my calls. So after 40 minutes, you just click on that link again. But that interface is up. Let's do let's do also G0/2. Remember, G0/2 is now the interface that connects to marketing network. So you exit this interface and then you say interface G0/2, and then you give it IP address of 192.168.1.126. And then you say 255, because /26.255.255, sorry, .255, let me just put here so that you see it, .255.128. You enter and then you enable the interface using the command no shut. And then that interface, as you can see, it has turned green. So it is now up. Now, the last interface on this router that we need to give an IP address is this G0/0. If we say again, put this one up here, do show IP interface brief, you can see that those two interfaces have IP addresses and their status is up. So now let's give this one an IP address. So again, we exit this interface, then say interface G0/0, and then IP address. The IP address of that interface, we will use the first usable IP address, this one here. So the IP address is going to be 192.168.1.233. It is /30. Because it is /30, the sound becomes 255.255.255.252. And then you enable the interface with the command no shut again. And so now, if you say do show IP interface brief, you can see that we have issued IP addresses to the 3 interfaces that router has, the 3 of them, and all of them are up. But you can see that for G0/1, the protocol status is down, while the protocol, the state is up, but the protocol state is down. This is because the other end of this connection is still in down state. So if we configure the other end, when I say the other end means this connection, this side here, this one here is still down. So when we configure this interface and enable it, it will come up. So that is it for router 1. Let's go to router 2 and also do more or less a similar configuration. So you click on this. Again, you say CLI here, and you say no here. They are asking us if we want to enter the initial configuration, which is not what we want. So you say no, and then you press enter. Then you enable here, you conft, and then we change the host name to R2. And then from there, we can say line console 0. We can, if you want to repeat this, and then you give that on a password of Cisco again, and then you log in, and then you exit that. You will say line VTY 0 space 4, and then you give it a password of again Cisco, and then you also say login, and then we can exit that. We can encrypt our passwords, service password encryption, and again also we can enable secrets. Enable secret. The password again to be Cisco for enabling secret. And then the other thing that we can also do is, of course, we can add the banner, but we can now skip that. Now for router 2, again, if you look at do show IP interface brief, if you enter, all the interfaces are in down state, and none of them has any IP address. So let's do the configuration of the IP addressing. Now, starting with this interface G0/0, let's give G0/0 an IP address. So interface G0/0, then IP address, then should be 192.168.1. Let me just confirm that, .234. It is /30, which is 255.255.255.252, and then you say no shut. Now, if I press enter, before I just press, if you look at this, these ones are still red, they're still down. But if I say no shut and press enter, you will see now they turn green. They're now up. Okay, so let's configure G0/1, the one that connects the finance department. So to configure that, we exit this interface, and then go to interface G0/1, and then IP address, and just confirm this is going to be 192.168.1.222. So you say 192.168.1.222 is a slash, what slash was this? /27, which is 255.255.224, and then no shutdown. And then the last interface is G0. We can exit this, and then interface G0/2, and the IP address for that interface. Its IP address is 192.168.1.130. 192.168.1.130. It is a /29, which is 255.255.255.248, and then no shut. Yeah, that's it. So we're done configuring IP addressing for the router interfaces. So if you say do show IP interface brief, we can see that all the interfaces have IP addressing. We can try and look at the routing table. You say do show IP route. If you say do show IP route, you can see that in this router's routing table, it knows about this network here. C means connected, as you can see here. So it is connected to this network here, so it knows it. Then it is also connected to the second network, which this first network, which is /29, is this network here. this is connected to this network here via G0/2. And it is telling us it is via G0/2. Then it is also connected to this network here via G0/1, the /27 network. And that is this network in the finance department. And then the other network that it knows about is this one here. It is also connected to this network here via G0/0. It is connected to this /30 network. And that is this network here. Now, like I explained the other time, there is the C. C means the network to which it is connected. Then the L is the specific then IP address in that particular network that is configured on the router interface. So this link expires in 1 minute. So we will pick it up once we click again on the link. So if you have a question, you can ask. Okay.